What is up, bros? Josh here. In today's video, we are going over the second version of the currently work-in-progress Russian Tier 7 battleship, the Poltava, and this is one that just got a recent update, as it is the second version, and also stats are subject to change, is still work in progress, and I don't think this one is quite done. I think we'll see maybe one more version, unlike the California, which I feel like is probably over. The USN Tier 7 battleship, I'll put a link down below to my recent video on that one. I feel like that one's a little bit done. That one's probably close enough to being done. The Poltava, though, I feel like with this most recent update, it's a little bit better. However, it still isn't quite finished. Just a quick note, I do not know how this ship will be released. There's a lot of things we can kind of guess. To me, it screams either free XP ship. One thing I've talked about a lot on all my streams, twitch.tv/mejash, is that this looks to me like a great maybe replacement from the Nelson, which was the Tier 7 free XP, or still is, the Tier 7 free XP battleship. To me, this seems like it could be kind of a cool, maybe free XP ship to pick up. It seems like the Nelson's been around for a long time, and this one could easily be a replacement for that or something like that. Or it could also be part of an event upcoming. Who knows? Same with the California. We just don't know yet. As soon as I know, you guys will know as well. However, the most recent updates we got with this ship are pretty much focused around its guns. The guns were originally very short range, only 16.1 kilometers, but it's gone from 16.1 kilometers all the way up to 18.3 kilometers, and the accuracy settings for the main caliber guns are adjusted to the standard setting for Battleship. So this doesn't have the Russian style that within 12 kilometers you get an improved dispersion, kind of this promotes brawling and whatnot. However, the Poltava has a problem with that, and one of the things that it says in this update is Poltava's concept is very similar to that of the Synop, but due to the specifics, armoring is less effective in close quarter combat. And that's one of the fun things or interesting things that it compares it to is the Synop. Now, one of the big things you get with this ship, and I do like the idea of this ship, as it's still, I mean, it's a Marblehead. A broadside Omaha, you're going to smack that any time. Marblehead, Murmansk, whatever it is. But this ship doesn't quite have the armaments of the Synop, which is known as being one of the strongest, if not the strongest, Tier 7 battleships. And what I mean by that is the Poltava has 3x3, 356 millimeters on a 28-second reload. And that is with, of course, the 18.3 kilometer range now, the buffed range. And the Synop, however, has 3x3 406s on a 33-second reload. And yes, it has a faster reload, but that difference in the shell size does make up a lot. And really, when I play this ship, it kind of feels like the least Russian battleship that's out there. Yeah, it can be fairly tanky in the right position. However, when it's still broadside, it still takes some pretty big salvos, but the guns don't really feel like Russian guns. You're going to be doing damage against cruisers, but you're going to be getting salvos like that. You don't get that buff that would have been within the Russian battleship range of shooting that kind of better dispersion. Also, I just don't feel like this ship really kind of brings anything as is to the, like, why would I bring this over the Synop? Why would I bring this over the Scharnhorst, which this ship is basically a kind of a kind of an agile, smaller pocket battleship, which is something I really enjoy about this ship. And it's kind of weird that I like the ship more with the shorter range guns, but the difference in or having that Russian style, I liked maybe being forced to brawl, being a relatively small and quick battleship, but having a lack of range, so it really promoted that. Now I don't like this ship at all. I really don't. I didn't find it to be that fun. I felt like I couldn't really punish stuff because of the just inconsistency of its shells, and you will see dispersion and you'll see salvos like this on the Ganais now, but you'll also see salvos where it's, you know, on other ships that it's completely missed, like we just missed with a couple salvos ago on that Nicholas that was less than 12 kilometers away. I felt like this ship as it is very, very inconsistent with this quote-unquote accuracy settings for the main battery are adjusted to the standard settings for Battleship. And one of the big things is at Tier 7, 356 isn't really... you're starting to get a lot of 406s, you're starting to get a lot of bigger caliber shells, and those are just going to be able to really kind of help up tier and really help just do a lot of damage towards stuff. I mean, comparing this to a Synop, I mean, this doesn't stand a chance. The Synop's just going to angle correctly and just absolutely wreck you with its 406s. Nagato, Colorado, all these are going to be very strong compared to this. And what this doesn't really bring anything to the table. Well, so what I think they'll probably end up doing with this ship, and we had an okay game, but I just kind of, when I played this, I was like, it doesn't, it doesn't do anything for me. I don't, it doesn't really seem like it's that exciting. I liked it at first because, okay, yeah, it's Russian, but it has a short range. You're gonna be kind of, pushed a little bit to get closer, and I kind of felt like, okay, that adds a bit of uniqueness, right? You have this kind of smaller, almost pocket battleship-esque style of ship, but in the end you kind of are forced to get close and kind of brawl, and you kind of don't see that. Normally the ships that are forced to kind of brawl is, you know, maybe they have torpedoes, or maybe they're just extremely strong when it comes to getting that Russian style buff, if you will, with the dispersion. This doesn't have that now. This is just a normal style of kind of underwhelming guns, which is what exactly these guns felt like the entire time. And it felt like I just couldn't be consistent. I didn't feel as when I play the sign up, when I or something else, when I shoot at something, I expect to do some damage to it. This, I didn't expect much at all. The shells are kind of all over the place. You'd get salvos where it was lasers, and you will see a laser shell, and of course we get that. The 356s are kind of 356 millimeter shells are kind of inconsistent, and that's what it seems like to me is these Russian battleship. Yes, let the meme live on, but the Russian battleships just seem so consistent. When you play the Sinop, you play the Vladi, you play even the Soyuz, especially the Kremlin, you expect that ship to perform like a battleship. This kind of wants to do battleship things, but just really can't. Another ship that at tier 7 kind of almost has the same play style in a way is kind of the Scharnhorst. You know, relatively fast reload, smaller caliber shells. Yes, 356s aren't the smallest caliber in this game compared to the Scharnhorst at all, but with this, I felt like I wasn't able to really punish battleships, as I just got a double Citadel on a battleship. I wasn't able to punish my tier battleships like I would have if I was in other stuff. Also, the dispersion on this ship was just completely underwhelming. Shots you would figure that of a stationary battleship or a battleship just kind of sitting there or not moving very fast didn't really get the outcome I was expecting. So you will see as we get into a later situation against a destroyer what this ship can do. I mean, obviously it is still a battleship shooting relatively large shells that it can still absolutely smack. You saw a double Citadel on an Omaha, you saw a double Citadel on a battleship, but I'm underwhelmed. I don't see really the point in this. Yeah, I kind of brought a kind of fun playstyle of aggressive pocket battleship, a small, agile battleship that wants to get in there and actually tank, because you have that fore-end plating of being Russian, right? What you want to do is you want to get into a spot where you can bow tank, and you can use that plating that's right here, the 200 millimeter plating. I think this is the salvo that's kind of just, it was almost laughable. Yeah, I mean, basically a stationary Gneiss now, and we only hit 2 of our 9 shells. If I'm in anything else, that could potentially be a Colorado or a Nagato. That could have been a 15, 20,000 salvo on a Gneiss now. When you're having trouble hitting almost stationary targets within 15 kilometers, 16 kilometers, you know you have a problem with this ship. What it does bring with a faster reload and, you know, a trade-off for the actual shells themselves, that's back-to-back salvos with only hitting 2 shells, you have a problem on your hands. It has to bring something elsewhere. But this ship is fairly tanky as what it is. It doesn't seem that big. You are pretty thin as the ship itself, but you still have that 200 millimeter plating right here. So we were able to get into some pretty nice brawling spots and able to do some decent damage that way. However, it wasn't enough for me. I mean, when I get into a spot, I'd rather just have a Scharnhorst if it's really meant to do it, or I'd just rather have a Sinop, the tier 7 tech tree. So that's why I feel like this ship could potentially be, you know, maybe one you can earn for free XP. Again, we don't know, and these stats are subject to change. I imagine what we will end up seeing is them going back to the original version, which had the Russian-style guns. Those Russian-style guns obviously being pushing into or within that close range, you then get the improved dispersion. I feel like what they added some range, took away the signature of the guns, but when you did that, you took away the entire identity. It doesn't feel like a Russian battleship. It's seriously the least Russian battleship in the game right now. You could even have, you know, maybe a similar play style. It's kind of like its own. It wants to do a bunch of things. It wants to be tanky, but doesn't have the guns to be tanky with. It wants to do these. It doesn't have good secondaries. It has okay AA. It's just it's a weird identity of this ship. But the rest of this game, we had a decent game. We had okay games, but nothing that really blew me away. And I really didn't play this ship that much after because it just didn't feel like it was going to. It really didn't feel like it was going to be anything. Like, there's no way this is finalized. It just doesn't seem like it is. And I talked to some other CCs, and they kind of had the same kind of input as me of they're just really underwhelmed. And it seems so weird that I like the original version so much more and it's a tier 7 battleship where the range was 16.1 kilometers. I preferred that. Also, you'll see again, we'll just kind of shine and show off what these guns can do at the end of the game. But this is the downside of 356s. You will see it takes several salvos to finish off these ships that if I was in something Colorado Nagato or even a sign up the tier 7 tech tree, they would have been gone instantly. So here we're trying to dodge this kamikaze. Secondaries are going off, and as you see with the Baron, one non-pen, one ricochet at 12 kilometers with 9 shells with, I thought, some fairly good accuracy. Or fairly good dispersion. So again, the one thing I can say about this ship is that it's just underwhelming. I like the original version more. I thought if they just added a little bit more range to that version, we would have been in a better spot. This, I feel like it completely removes its identity. However, the range felt better. I'll give it that. The range felt better. And another torp from the kamikaze. Nothing we can really do here. And I think what we end up doing is again, third salvo on this Baron right here. Seems like we're healing him up because we can not do any damage to him. And the kamikaze is so lucky. He gets the best little dispersion. I will say I like the movement of this ship. The ship itself, I think, moves fairly well. I like little agile battleships. They're fun to me. Luckily, the Nagato said it had guns big enough. For me, here we go with this. I think we switched to HE, and you'll just see kind of the inconsistency that this gun kind of has. So there's one salvo right there, and again, within that 12-kilometer range, if we were a normal Russian battleship, we would have been able to absolutely slay. But you'll see it right here what we can actually do with the rest of this ship. And let me just line it up. We got the spotted by the Ranger, and this one was actually kind of funny. As we see right here, he does the full turn, and maybe the most accurate salvo of all time. Yeah, there you go. There you go. So easy peasy, as the CV laughs too, and there you go. It tries to be Russian at least, so we'll give it that. And I said this ship is so dumb, and it really is. The entire game and the rest of this game is just us kind of dragging it out. I get killed by the CV, but I thought that salvo was pretty funny. So overall, we will click out and we will see the post battle. I thought that last salvo was kind of funny, just a perfect dispersion. I wish we could get that every time when you're playing a battleship, right? But I feel just completely underwhelmed when I play this ship. I see no point in really playing this ship. I don't think it brings anything to the table, and I think at a tier where there's a lot of good options, especially for premium ships, and not only just having good strong tech tree ships, if you aren't standing out or you aren't bringing anything to the table other than just looking relatively cool and handling pretty well, where everything else is just completely underwhelming, you're gonna have a tough time really selling it to anybody. So I don't think that this is the final version. This is version 2, still work in progress. Again, these stats are subject to change, but I just don't think this is it. I think we will see another version, and probably going back to maybe dropping off a little bit of range, but getting that Russian kind of identity of the dispersion back, and I think that was probably what we'll see. Again, we do not know how this ship will be released, whether it's free XP, an event, anything. As soon as I know, you guys will know, so I will keep you up to date. But overall, decent little ship, but still it's lacking something, and I will title this the least Russian battleship in the game right now. It's just, it's trying to be too much, but it's nothing at all in the end. So anyways, that's it for me. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember, like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.